overworking, whether it's whatever is going on, I can't think of anybody that I know that is 100% sane. So, like I said, the whole concept of even sanity, I sometimes wonder about, because I think that we all have, like I said, we all have our addictions, we all have our nuances, we all have our things that we do that are a little bit different than the average person. So, I've actually said that if I ever met a totally sane person, I might actually run the other direction, because I don't know that I would be able to cope with them, because I know that I've got my nuances. I know Dean's got his nuances. I know that Dean's wife has got her nuances, as does friends of ours and everything. So I know that we all have our nuances. So I don't know whether, like I said, if I ran into somebody that was 100% sane that told me that they had never gone through anything, I might run like many miles away, not just to the next town.
But the thing is that, but they call y'all, for us in recovery, we call you guys normal, right? And I use that word loosely because, I'll just use my family. They've never, did hard drugs like I did, so they're normal. Although they're not normal, they think they are. Right? People think they're sane. They think they have it going on. They think nothing's wrong with them. And those are the ones I be saying, dude, you need a meeting. You need to get some help. Because your behavior is totally out of character. It's not acceptable. But for me, I'm so grateful that I know I have a disease of addiction for which there's no known cure. However, can be arrested at any time and recovery is then possible. That's what we say. See, I know what's wrong with me. I know that I am addicted to almost everything. I know that I have addictive personality. I know that I accept that about me. I accept the fact for the rest of my life I'll have to carry a jack in recovery or a dope fiend. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me because it allows me to know that I can walk in God's grace on a daily basis, and I can deal with whatever is coming my way in one form or another. Every day is not a perfect day for an addict like me, but because I've made a conscious decision to try. See, I made a conscious decision I wanted to change my life. Some people don't do that.
Which actually brings us another interesting point. I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but now I looked on the page of your page and everything, and you talk about addiction to things that are actually also common. Like I said, we mentioned food, but you also mentioned the fact that some people, and I know you said you're very active in your church, but some people are actually also addicted to church. I mean, like I know some people
they sure are.
You go to church, do the whole routine of church, and sometimes it even becomes a show. Like I said, it becomes almost not so much them getting the message of what God is trying to provide them through the Bible and other reflective modes, but they're actually just kind of addicted to the act of going to church and the whole shows that go around church. Because I remember there was a church that I went to many years ago, and the same old guy would go running around at the same time. You can't tell me that that's not rehearsed and that's not scripted. So, like I said, and I'm not saying that the Holy Ghost isn't real. I do believe in the Holy Ghost. I do believe in God and God's power. But at the same time, if it happens at the same time every time, that's rehearsed.
Right, exactly. And, I say that to people, that they're addicted to church or too much church or not enough church. They're addicted to that. And we have to accept that some people don't even realize that they've fallen into this category of falling into this place to where, you can do that without thinking about it. I used to get high without even realizing I was getting high. That's how, it was just a normal behavior for me. And so we get so addicted. And one of the things I tell people is that I know so many people that are addicted to the pain of a situation, and I don't care what you do to them, they don't want to come up out of it. You give them a solution, they don't want to come up out of it, right? Because they're so used to it. They get so used to it. And, it's not that you want to feel sorry for people, but for me, when I know there's a solution, then it's like, I'm the wrong person to cry to. Because unless you want to do something about your situation, and there's always something we can do about a situation, the first step is admitting that you got a problem.
Right.
That's the first step. Once I admit it, then I'm good.
That's very true. So tell us how the book came about. Because like I said, the book just is fascinating. I got to get a copy of it. Don't have a copy yet. I don't think Dean does yet either. But we definitely will get a copy. But tell us how the book came about. And also, if you don't mind, if there's any particular parts of the book that you are particularly proud of, like if there's a passage in the book that you are you like to have people hear when they're talking to you and everything. So if you tell us a little bit about how the book started, and also if there's a favorite part of the book.
Absolutely. The book came about, I've been clean about 23, 24 years, and my older sister in New York used to always tell me, listen, you need to write this story. You've done some things in your lifetime that people will be amazed about. And I'm like, well, nobody want to hear about me doing dope. She said, it's not about you doing dope, it's about what you've done since then. And, I would always think about all the things, wrapping my body with dope, getting on planes, or house was built with dope. I had dope in the walls and the floorboards, and I just didn't think anybody wanted to hear about that. But when I finally decided to do the book, I couldn't write it. I had to record it. And I could only record it in my car. I know this sounds crazy, but God would only minister to me while I was driving in my car or sitting in my garage, and I would talk the book. And the book was so therapeutic to me that it allowed me to release some things I had forgotten all about. And so one of the things in the book that's most important to me is me making amends, Felicia making amends to little Felicia. And in the book, I apologize to little Felicia for letting her down. I apologize to her for not allowing her to grow into the woman she should have been then. I apologize to her for putting her in bad situations, tough situations, not allowing her to grow spiritually the way she should have. Because that's what we do. That little girl, that little boy in us, we let them down when we don't flourish like we should, and we get into all these crazy situations like drugs or alcohol. And so that's a very powerful chapter to me. And I also am very proud of the chapter to where I literally took the time to apologize to every member of my family. I have a passage to my dad, to all my sisters and brothers, to my cousins, to my nieces, and to my nephew. I've named them one by one and apologized for the things that I may have done to them. And that was really huge for me. And so the book just tells you that no matter how low you go, God can pull anybody out of the lion's den. And so that's what the book has done for me, and that's why I'm so excited about the book.
It's definitely a very powerful book, and definitely glad that you're excited about the book and everything. I think we have one other caller calling in, but I definitely want you to stay on and everything. But I did have one other quick question before we get to the other caller and everything, which is that a lot of times, like the other person we had on that had gone through addiction, they had been through an abusive situation. It sounds to me like yours was more at a relationship abusive. I think theirs was more family, like they had been abused by their family members and everything. So I was wondering, did the addiction come from outside forces, or did it come from internal forces where you had other folks in your family that were also dealing with addiction?
Nope, and nope. I was never abused, sexually, mentally, or nothing. I come from a two-parent home, dad, construction, mom, a nurse. Nobody else did it. I got high because I wanted to. I saw a group of people that was slinging a lot of jewelry around their neck, driving fancy cars, handsome, and I wanted to be with them. That's the bottom line. And most people want to categorize me, or most addicts, as being abused in one form or another. I abused myself because I made a choice to get high. Nobody made me. When I started hanging out with that group, they didn't even want me to. And I was like, come on, now I want to do it, right? And so that was my decision. And I want people to know that. I made that decision. Nobody forced me to do anything.
Like I said, I've never dealt with drugs myself, but I've definitely had an occasional drink of alcohol, but not even to the point of being an alcoholic. But I can understand where you can get tempted by drugs, because I remember when I was a teenager, I had friends that would smoke, just basic stuff. They would smoke marijuana.
Right.
And I remember one time traveling with them. I'm still a mass transit person now, and I was a mass transit person at that time as well, or depending on other people. But they were getting there, they were getting high, and I was seeing their reaction. I was seeing how they were enjoying the high that they were having. I did not want to do. I've never been, I remember what Bill Clinton said, but I've never been one that wanted to have the whole inhaling thing. That's never been my thing. That's why I don't smoke cigarettes.
Right.
I don't do cigars. I don't do any of that. But I remember driving in that car, and I'm like, y'all are having too much fun. So I remember literally just intentionally rolling up the car window so that I could get a contact high.
And that's just how it is. And you know what? Let me leave you with this. I am not angry at my past. I am not angry at any of the people that I hung out with. I say this all the time. I would probably not change a thing from my past, because my past has made me an amazing woman today. And I thank God that I had the experience of a hard time, because now I can stand flat-footed in front of you and say, now what you got? see you can't do me worse than I did myself. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
That is very true. And I want you to stay on the line. I want to find out who the other guest is that's on the phone, but I do want to continue the conversation with you because I'm sure you have many other fascinating stories that you want to share. But if you just stay on the line. And, Dean, can you bring in whoever else we've got on the line?
Yeah, let's find out who else is on the line here. You are on the line with Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. Good evening. Could you let us know who you are?
Hi, my name is Verna Street.
Hello.
Hey, Verna.
Hi, how are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. Why don't you share a little bit about your story? We were talking to Felicia Lee-Sexton, who's gone through abuse and things of that nature, but I want you to share a little bit about what you're all about because you're my cousin and you do a lot of stuff with the Native American situation and the powwows and things of that nature. So I would love to hear your story. And you've also gone, I know for just being a family member, that you have also gone through some things with having to cope with addictions and things of that nature. So just share a little bit about your life.
Well, my name is Verna Street. I was actually a hedge pet before I got married. I'm from the Hollister, North Carolina area. And I was listening, and I didn't know what day to call in or, if I had to tie into what you were already talking about. But I was listening to the lady that was earlier. I didn't catch her name.
Felicia Lee-Sexton.
Hi, Miss Felicia. Yes, that was awesome. She was talking about, she wrote a book, right?
Yeah. Yes, she wrote a book. Yeah, she wrote a book. Are you there, Felicia?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that I'm glad to hear that you're able to overcome your addiction. And yes, I have had some issues as well in my past. And staying connected to my culture is a big reason and big thing that helped me come out of it. I did move home to North Carolina, and I started a dance studio where I cater mostly to children, but I cater to anyone of any age that wants to learn more about their Native American style of dancing. So with that, it has helped me and it's helped me stay away from my old habits, but it's also helped me encourage our youth and anyone that comes through the Raven Street Dance Studio doors to find whatever it is that will inspire you to be the best that you can be, no matter what that is. It might not be dance necessarily. It might be, going to church, playing basketball, but find whatever inspires you just to be a healthy person as a total.
Definitely, you're doing a great job of that, and that's actually kind of what you even talk about, Felicia, because, like you said earlier, you have a gym. So tell us how the gym came about, and then I'd like Verna to talk a little bit about how the dance studio came about as well, but I'll start with you first.
Oh, wow.
Tell us how the gym came about, because, like I said, you started a gym. Did you start it at the time that you were recovering, or did you start it even as you were going through the problems that you were going through?
No, I started the gym. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So I started the gym. What happened was I started menopause at a very young age, at 38. And one of my dear friends told me, hey, we're not going to take any drugs. What we're going to do is we're going to change your workout, and we're going to work out even harder. And so what happened was I started bodybuilding, right? I've won about 25 shows to date. And I was, like I said, 38, first bodybuilding show, mid-40s. And so from there he said, okay, now you have this. Now you got to spread it to other women. And so I started an all-women's gym called the Women's Health and Fitness Center. And so we started working on mind, body, and spirit because a lot of women were like me. But they were also of age, over 50, And so that's how the gym came about.
And where's your gym located?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
That is so awesome. I want to start a wellness center where we have a gym as well. I feel like in our neighborhood that to keep addiction, and not just addiction, but just keep a healthy, well-balanced way of life, that we need a facility in order to be able to provide that. I want to talk to you later on about how you got it all started.
Absolutely, because one of the things that's really important is at our gym we have Bible study, we have our own therapist, we have a travel club, we have an area for our children, because it's about the mind, body, and spirit. The women have to get the word, and the therapist that I have has been my personal therapist, and she comes in once a month, and does a round table with all the women so we can just throw it on the floor. You got to work from the inside out. You have to.
That's right. That's so cool. That's awesome. Well,
so Verna, tell people how you got Raven Street started, because like I said, you've had to dance